Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari 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 Om. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari 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 Om. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Hari Om. Hari 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 Om. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Hari Om, 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 Hari 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 Om. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari 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 Om. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Hari Om. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Hari Om. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari 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 Om. Hari 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 Om. Hari 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 Om. Hari Om, Hari Om. Hari Om, Hari Om. Hari 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 Om. Hari 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 Om. Om Shanti Om Shanti Om Shanti 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 Om. Shanti Shanti Om. Shanti Shanti Om. Om Shanti Om. Om Shanti Om. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari 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 Om. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari 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 Om. Hari Om, Hari Hari Om. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om. Hi all, welcome to the Yoga Center. My name is Welcome to the Yoga Center.
Closer.
Thank you. Oh, don't block the camera. My name is Rob.
Use the mic, watch me.
What? You get here? Okay.
Use the mic.
This one's going out on the live. This one's just for us. Welcome again. So if anybody's joining us on Google Hangouts, are there some joining? Welcome. Welcome to the Yoga Life Center Satsang. It means that people are watching either on YouTube or on Google
Chat.
It's on Google to hang out, watch and stuff.
There's someone hanging around.
Yeah.
Do you know where they're from?
No,
Can they say?
It depends.
I don't know how
They're
to.
gonna hang out. If they're on YouTube or on our website, then they can't come. Yeah, you have to be in
And for those of you who don't know, this is Reverend Jaganath Carrera, and he's an author of books and Yoga Sutras and Awaken Inside Yoga Meditation, and he's been teaching all facets of yoga since 1973. And we're so happy that he's here today. And Guruji speaks from his heart, and we're all happy to have a little piece of it when we listen to him. And tonight we celebrate and honor the Divine Mother with a puja. The feminine holds the mystery of creation. The feminine qualities belong to both men and women, and it draws us into the depths within ourselves and to our sacredness of the earth. We have a raffle tonight. We are raffling off not just this little sign, but it's chocolate. It's a $25 gift certificate for Matisse Chocolate,
Oh.
and it's donated by Shiva and family. So they're 1 for 3, 3 for 6, 6 for 9, and Madhuri has tickets. So we'll raffle it off at the end of Satsang. We are not here. And we have a special guest speaker tonight, Reverend Narni. She's going to be speaking on Berta. And we have Saraswati offering the Divine Mother chant. And we have Guruji. We'd love to have Guruji giving us satsang. So I will invite Shanti up to have Reverend Shanti for the Divine Mother.
The puja, actually the blessing mantra for tonight is Om Jagadambaya Namah. Jagadambaya is represented here to Mother of the Universe. All of the wonder also represents the divine.
Samyatam Nityam Jayanti Yogina Amadam Mokshadam Chaiva Om Karaya Namo Namaha Om Karaya Namo Namaha Om Karaya Namo Namaha Om Karaya Namo Namaha united with the source, on which the yogis ever dwell, grants desires and liberation. Salutations to the Omkara. Pranandam Paranasukalam, Kevalam Yanamurti, Manvatitam Parasatrusam, Tattvamasya Nilaksham, Ekam Nityam Himalachalam, Sarvadi Sakshi Buddham, Bhavatitam, Jivarahitam, Satgurum Tam Namami. Praise is the highest joy, embodiment of wisdom absolute, non-dual boundless like the sky, who is the goal of thou art that, one eternal, pure and still, witness of the whole universe, beyond mind's grasp the Buddha's free, to that Guru may my worship be. Om Namah Shivaya Gurave, Sachidananda Nishprapanchaya Shantaya Niralamaya Tejase. The Guru is auspiciousness, the embodiment of truth, knowledge, bliss. Salutations to the one who is beyond the worlds, peaceful, independent, and radiant. Om Gum Gurave Namah. Om Gum Gurave Namah. Om Gum Gurave Namah.
Divine Mother, please permit us to pour this blessing to you, to experience your presence and to receive your blessing. Until we finish the ceremony, please let nothing distract us. Please protect us from obstacles and allow us to have hope, faith, zeal, and your hearts. From the holy waters of heaven and earth, flow through you into these waters, sanctify them. Om Atane Namaha, Om Angatane Namaha, Om Shivatane Namaha, Om Ganatane Namaha, Om Parvatane Namaha. Salutations to the Atman,
Salutations to the inner Atman. Salutations to the individual Atman. Salutations to the Atman wisdom. Salutations to the Supreme Atman.
My mother, thank you for being here. Om Jagadambaya Namah. 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 Eva Matasha Pita Twameva Twameva Bandusha Saka Twameva Twameva Vidya Ravinam Twameva Twameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva. Thou art my mother, my father, thou art. Thou art my family, my friend, thou art. Thou art my knowledge, my wealth, thou art. Thou art my all light of all lights, thou art.
Salutations to our Mother Divine, we see in the form of Durga. Salutations. Salutations to our Mother Divine, who we see in the form of Mother Mary.
Salutations.
Salutations to our Mother Divine, who we see in the form of Lakshmi.
Salutations.
Salutations to our Mother Divine, who we see in the form of Saraswati.
Salutations.
Salutations to our Mother Divine, who we see in the form of Kuan Yin.
Salutations.
Salutations to our Mother Divine, who we see in woman, the ray of God.
Salutations.
Salutations to our Mother Divine, who knows exactly what to take away and what to grant to her beloved children for their own goodness sake.
Salutations.
Salutations to our Mother Divine, Goddess of the universe, who hears the cries of the world and responds with her vastly flowing love.
Salutations.
Salutations to our Mother Divine, whose boundless love pours forth endless prosperity into our hearts.
Salutations.
Salutations to our Mother Divine, Goddess of the universe, who nurtures her children with infinite love and compassion.
Salutations.
Salutations to our Divine Mother, for each tree she provides reminds us of the quiet but living stillness all around and inside us.
Salutations.
Salutations to our Mother Divine, for providing us with a seemingly infinite amount of forms to care of, play with, and grow from. Salutations.
Salutations.
Salutations to the Divine Mother as the planet Earth, supporting each pound of every living and non-living creature every minute of every day.
Salutations.
Salutations to our Mother Divine, whose love for us knows no bounds.
Salutations.
Salutations to our Mother Divine, whose smile removes all fears from our hearts.
Salutations.
Salutations to our Mother Divine, who in Shakti, the force of creation.
Salutations.
Salutations to our Mother Divine, who protects us as a lioness protects her cubs.
Salutations.
Salutations to our Mother Divine, who cannot resist our prayers.
Salutations.
And again,
Salutations.
Jagadambaya Namah. Om 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 Jagadambaya Namah.
welcome, Mother. Welcome, Mischief. Let us be like this. Touch us with your
Divine Mother, we humbly offer this blessing and its fruits. We offer it to you because by your grace we do this. You guided us, you protected us, you helped us. Thank you. Om Jagadambaya Namah. Om Jagadambaya Namah. Om Jagadambaya Namah.
Satgamaya, Tamasoma, Jyotirgamaya, Mrityorma, Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Lead us from unreal to real. Lead us from darkness to the light. Lead us from the fear of death to the knowledge of immortality. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu.
May the entire universe be filled with peace and joy, love, and happiness. And may the light of truth overcome all darkness.
Victory to that light.
Jai Shri Satguru Maharaja Ki.
Jai.
Jai Shri Maharani Jagadambaya Ki.
Jai.
I'd like to invite Reverend up. Speak aspect of the divine. Just turn your chair a little bit. Do you say have another one? Okay.
Okay, so let me know if you're. Let me know if you can't hear me. Oh, you're doing a. I can't do that. Sorry. Thank you. I appreciate that. No, you don't have to do that.
I'll be your next day.
Since I've been preparing for this topic, I I've been seeing aspects of the Divine Mother, you know, everywhere. Just saw one. Thank you so much. Thank you. It's a different divine right now. The mother would have done it perfectly anyway. Oh, I'm just trying to tighten it. The talk is only 2 minutes. This is going to take longer than the whole talk, so I apologize for that. Hope it's worth the wait, you guys. During the beautiful blessing, we heard, you know, when we did the salutations part, and Mischief was reading the different names and the different aspects of the Divine Mother. As I heard it, I kind of heard the aspect that I'm going to be covering. I wonder, although there's an aspect of the mother, and then there's a representative in female form that I'm going to talk about. I wonder if anyone has ever heard of Berta Caceres. God bless. So for the rest of you, I'm pleased to introduce a very fine example of the Divine Feminine in the form of a Honduras woman named Berta Caceres, who died only this last March. But before I get to her story, I'd like to honor one of the most beautiful manifestations of the Divine Mother, our Mother Earth. There's a huge danger posed. And it is not Guruji.
Are you sure?
I'm sure. That is where the peace, that's the answer. That's the remedy. Guruji is the remedy to the danger. So thank you for coming back. There's a huge danger posed to people today, and that's the threat of environmental catastrophe, which threatens the health and perhaps the existence of all of us, of the human species. In studying yoga philosophy, we will be led to the conclusion that we exist apart from the human body and will continue to exist apart from it once it has dropped. So why should we even care if humans become extinct? Do we care? I've seen some yes. That's enough. That's a critical mass to care. So we care. Is it possible that this is simply the natural order of things, that forms of being arise and disappear in the universe, and we need to show an attitude of non-attachment towards this? I think it matters because of the value of human experience and of being on this earth. The earth and her inhabitants is an expression of the Divine Mother. And in this life, we are called to wake up and fully experience the offering before us. This is a sacred trust, an opportunity to experience spirit while in the human body as part of this living organism, the Mother Earth. The Mother Earth is an expression of the Divine Mother, and all of the beings of the Mother Earth are expressions of the Divine Mother as well. The spirituality of most of the Earth's indigenous people expresses an understanding of this sacred relationship. I am describing not only the Mother Earth and her inhabitants as expressions of the Divine Mother, but also the acknowledgement of this, of seeing this as the Divine Feminine. With me so far? When you are kept from this awareness, it can have negative effects on the environment, which of course threatens our health. But we should consider that our spirits will survive to go forth to other experiences where the same negative patterns could continue. We should consider learning our lessons here and now. So to quote Guruji, for us humans, it is a matter of expanding our love of convenience and other advantages that we enjoy, but that may be hurting the planet, to include the planet, Mother Earth herself. is about raising consciousness regarding how we lack understanding and sensitivity of our environment and our environmental responsibilities. We can learn from Mother Earth, who cares for us, how to care for others and for her. So in honor of the Divine Mother, I'd like to present one example of a woman who lived out this respect for the sacredness of Mother Earth as she stepped up bravely to defend and protect the Earth and her people. And I wrote out the name here in case you are interested in further study afterwards. Berta Cáceres led the opposition to the construction of a Aqua Zarca hydroelectric project. The project included a series of dams on the Rio Gualcarque, the sacred river of the Lenca people. Indigenous communities protested that they had not been consulted and the project would cause severe environmental damage and uproot their communities and livelihoods. So to kind of reiterate, Berta Cáceres was an indigenous activist working to stop a dam project in Honduras. She headed an organization of people who were blocking the building of the dam on the sacred river of the Lenca people that would destroy the lands and prevent the use of water from the nearby river for the indigenous communities living there, whose livelihoods depended on the growing of crops like corn and beans. She was a courageous environmental activist, demonstrating the Divine Mother in her commitment to care for and defend Mother Earth, her lands, and the survival of her people. She was fully aware of the threats on her life for her opposition to this dam and other dam projects in the area, the building of which the Lenca people had not been consulted. I was looking at Mother Earth as an aspect of the Divine Mother and the defense and protection of her as the supreme respect shown to this aspect of the divine, as the upholding of the sacred. To even see this sacredness as the indigenous people do, as many of them do, as Cáceres did, is a divine feminine quality. The patriarchy of our modern cultures today are creating obstacles to this, hence the pollution and degradation of our environment. In presenting Berta and her cause as reflecting the divine feminine, I want to point out that her organization's 2-decade-long movement to defend the lands and people of Honduras has only used peaceful protests and demonstrations. They've used resistance to development, like dams, mines, and forestry, by marches, standing in the way of equipment, etc. While they have been harassed and threatened with violence and death, they still stood their ground in a peaceful manner. Mother of Four herself, Cáceres' mother, was a midwife and social activist who took in and cared for refugees. She taught her young children the value of standing up for disenfranchised people. Their community was heavily Catholic, and as an adult, Cáceres attended a meeting with Pope Francis with grassroots social activists at the Vatican in 2014. But the rootedness in the indigenous spirituality of the Lenca people was always a powerful influence. So when it comes to the earth, permission given, that's in quotes, permission giving is the name of a common value that is still practiced today among the Lencas of Honduras and El Salvador. So when heavy machinery arrived on the Gualcarque River in 2011 to begin constructing a dam without the permission of the Lenca people, the Lenca viewed it not only as the destruction of their livelihood and the water supply, but also as the destruction of a sacred site and complete disregard for their indigenous rights. So with the help of Cáceres, the Lenca people fought back. In 2013, members of the Lenca community created a human roadblock to the construction site. They held out for 21 months. As part of their defense, the Lenca people made traditional offerings of food and drink to the earth, asking the spirits of the earth, water, and sun for protection as they worked for justice. They also engaged the indigenous tradition of caminata, walking as a community to the dam headquarters while offering prayers and incense. Cáceres said these actions were a major turning point in halting construction on the dam. She said, "In our fight to protect the Gualcarque River the most powerful element has been the Lenca people's spirituality and an impressive tenacity in the struggle. Her indigenous worldview gave her spiritual strength and the clarity of viewing the environment as Mother Earth that must be constantly protected. In 2015, for her incredible leadership and dedication, Caceres was nominated and won the Goldman Environmental Prize, the environmental equivalent of the Nobel Peace Prize. In April of last year, she came to San Francisco and Washington, D.C. to accept the award, which recognizes 5 ordinary individuals in the world every year who work at the grassroots level to protect and enhance our environment. She said, this is a quote of hers, I'll get to that next. I just want to point out that Berta's voice was an extraordinarily powerful and articulate one, a voice that united people in defense of lands and rights, and that brought together thousands of like-minded people and organizations throughout the world. Giving our lives in various ways for the protection of the rivers is giving our lives to the well-being of humanity and of this planet Earth. Death threats to Caceres continued until March 3rd, this past March 3rd, 2016, when she was killed by gunmen in her home in La Esperanza, Honduras. That's the end of my talk. I'm so grateful to you for letting me share it, because it was so moving to me to know this woman, there's a Divine Mother. The love of the Divine Mother is not a passive love. That's what her message means to me. It's, it can be soft and it can be an embrace, but it also can be a call to action. And it can be a call to give your life for the protection of those around you, for something that's greater than just the individual. So thank you so much, and anyone who wants to discuss it more, please see me after the satsang.
Do you have a picture?
I do not have a picture. No, I hesitated putting a picture up because you might have come expecting a female saint, so to speak. When I was talking to Lakshmi, she said, well, she's saint-like. And I wasn't sure it was appropriate to have the picture up here, but please do. That's why I put her name here in case you want to learn more about this. And this struggle continues. Any questions?
How did you come into your awareness?
I'm a reader, so it was online and reading. And I think I saw a video clip of her speech, about the prize that was given. And I welcome or encourage you to look up her speech that she made when she accepted her award. So I heard the speech. It was very, very moving, and sort of followed the crumbs, I don't mean crumbs. That doesn't sound right. They are gems. But, I kind of followed and researched and found more. It's of great interest to me, what is going on with the environment and people who protect.
Shut that mic off. Make sure it's off so we don't get anything. Okay. Thank you.
And one person can do lots. You don't have to think of starting a movement or leading thousands. You start where you are. You make your life better. You protect your environment. Start there. All the small ways. Sometimes we think that only the big gesture counts, so that we devalue the vital things that we can do. So every little thing you can do that. Protect the environment that way. If you're moved, you could join a movement. If you're moved, you could start a movement. That's okay too. But it has to start with you. The reason Bertha could do this, no doubt, was the quality of person she was. It's not just the idea she had to do it. Whenever you look at someone who's accomplished things, there's something in the character of the person, something in the background that allowed them to carry that weight. Buddha used to poke fun at people who would fight for peace. Back in the 60s and 70s. At that time there were a lot of protests, Vietnam War protests. People were fighting for peace. So it doesn't work. What you do is you create enemies. It doesn't work that way. Change your life first. Do what you can first. Greatness lies in doing all the little things well. Swami Vivekananda said, any fool can rise to greatness on a great occasion, but only a truly great person is great in every small thing. That's where your strength is, in the little things. No use thinking of saving the planet if you're not a reliable person with your friends. If you say one thing and do another all the time, there's no integrity in your beliefs, in your words, and your actions. So be that person with integrity. Then you apply that integrity to any area of your life. At least one little corner of the world where you would have it will be transformed. And then it spreads. I always remember years ago, I saw a documentary, and I really have no recollection of what the documentary was about. I just remember this one Black Baptist preacher filled with this incredible, joyous energy, talking about, well, I guess, what is religion? He said, religion is like a disease. You gotta catch it. So it's nothing you can teach. Maybe not the best example, metaphor, but you get the idea. Global growth happens when someone catches the spirit from another person. It doesn't come from nowhere. That's why Lord Jesus said, you are the light of the world. Become that light, and like he said, nobody takes the light and hides it under a bushel. Put it up high so that everybody can see and benefit. You don't have to put yourself up. That'll happen. You become the light. That's your job. And that's yoga. Over the centuries, what yoga is, as it's understood, has changed some, back and forth, different things. It's not just one monolithic idea. But certainly there is a common strain of thought, which is true, that yoga is a path for the individual to go within and discover their true nature. But sometimes we forget the outer part that Reverend Narni was referring to. A little bit of a cop-out. Just take care of myself, that's all I have to do. You know, you may not notice it, those of you who are familiar with the Yoga Sutras, Patanjali Yoga Sutras. Where is the call to action in the Yoga Sutras? Well, there's a number. But allow me to do one that you probably never thought of. Be familiar with the sutras a little bit. There's an amazing sutra, Sutra 18, in the second portion. I'm going to look at it. I'm not good with numbers. I think it's 18. And Patanjali talks about the created universe. And in this astounding sutra, he tells us what creation is for. He gives a little prelude. He says, well, the nature of creation, he says, is of the gunas, the three qualities. Inertia, activity, and balance. Those are the three essential qualities. Then he says something astonishing. He says the purpose of nature is to give us experiences and liberation. The purpose of creation, all of it, is to give us experiences and liberation. Prakriti is the word for nature. Prakriti, in the Sanskrit, is feminine. We might say Mother Nature, something like that would be a similar idea. So Mother Nature's purpose is to give us experiences in liberation. And liberation. Liberation. And liberation. Doesn't that sound like a pretty good deal? Liberation from what? Liberation from spiritual ignorance. Liberation from suffering. Liberation from all the boundaries we set up within ourselves and among ourselves. What we might call enlightenment. Self-realization. Now, if the Mother Nature is giving you that gift, if we believe what Patanjali is saying, it probably is good. What did your mother teach you to say when you're given a gift? The only proper response to a gift is gratitude. That's the only one. There isn't like another one that's appropriate. That's it. You're given a gift, and you recognize it as a gift, wherever it comes from. Gratitude is the only response. So how do you say thank you to Mother Nature? You could say, thank you, Mother Nature. That's good. Just in your human relationship, your mom would like to hear you, thanks, Mom, once in a while. But you know what happens like just about every Mother's Day? Your mother says, yeah, this is so much what I really want is to see you, right? Prosper, be healthy. Right? She's looking for you to have a fulfilled, completely satisfying life. The words alone are nice, but the mother's heart isn't satisfied just with words. She wants to see action. The way we express the gratitude to the Mother Nature is through serving. You show gratitude through serving. Selfless, dedicated action. Our meal prayer, the one we do, really expresses that. We start by thanking the Mother Nature. Mother Nature, we're here on the table is of food. First of all, just think of that. When Mother Nature comes to the table as food for you, she's sacrificing her own body for you. That's why Gurudev often said that every time he eats anything, it's like taking communion. Christians say, oh, the host is like the communion, right? The host in the wine, the body and blood. He said, when I take anything, it's like Mother Nature comes to the table as food. Endlessly bountiful, benefactress of all. All. Of all. That means the people we think are virtuous and the people we think are not virtuous. Mother's energy means, and you've seen it so many times, oh, the child is caught as a serial killer. He's a good boy. He got into a bad crowd. Mother's love like that. And Mother Nature, we see that. Jesus said the similar thing, right? He said, be perfect, even as your Father in heaven is perfect. He defines perfection. He's saying, the Father sends the rain and the sun on both the good and the evil. So we say in that beautiful prayer, benefactress of all. This doesn't say of yogis, spiritual people, nice people. All. So then you go on. Who are you praying for when you say, please grant us all you're praying for? Health and strength, wisdom and dispassion to find permanent peace and joy. Share that peace and joy with one another. Mother is Mother Nature. Father, the Lord of all. The entire creation is my family. So we get our lives supported by the Mother Nature. We can't give back exactly what we've received. Mother sends us the food and the air and the water and the sunshine. All the things we need to live. We can't give back exactly the same thing. But we can take the gifts and use it for the common good. Thinking, Mother's taking care of me. She wants me to be like her. Let me do what I can to take care of others. Yeah, it doesn't have to be dramatic. There's a wonderful Zen master, Venerable Prabhasa Dharma. Amazing. She, in her sleep, Dharma talks. Sir, you remember the talk she gave at the Kirkpatrick Chapel? She stood like this, so beautiful, so erect, just like this. Other than her mouth moving, nothing else moved. And yet she looked so relaxed. Extraordinary woman. She talked about, it was in response to a question, what we can do for all the suffering of the world. And she talked about the obvious things you can do. She said sometimes, at that time there was a story of some refugees, always some refugees, it seemed, on a boat, starving. What can I do? What can we do for that? Her solution was to meditate and be on the boat with them, feeling their hunger. And instead of eating her meal, did it. That's not small. To feel that hunger, to be with them, at least on some subtle level, benefited those people. Maybe not even reaching their own conscious mind, but still that energy is there. When we do these beautiful chants, we shouldn't just do it like parrots. It is from unreal to real, darkness to light, the fear of death to the knowledge of immortality. The entire universe will be filled with peace and joy. The universe is not even big enough. Sanskrit is loka. It's not universe, it's loka. It means every possible level of creation. From the most subtle to the most gross. When I suggested we do it 3 times, it's so you don't miss it. There's nothing certain. I said, oh, I was wandering, mind wandering first time. Maybe mind wanders the second time. 3rd time you might get it. And the word, peace and joy, love and light, it's just 4 words, only 1 word in Sanskrit. Sukhino. But there's no one word that easily translates Sukhi. It's from the root sukha. Some of you know dukkha. It's the pear, sukha. If you look at the roots of the word sukha, it means something like an easy, free-flowing, easy, swift, free-flowing joy. It's all of that. It's like something that moves, it transforms. It's swift and it's easy flowing. We say, may the entire loka, all the lokas, be filled with sukha. Easy, free-flowing, swift joy. I love the imagery because joy is not something that's just kind of static. We feel joy, it moves us to do something. At least when we do our prayers or our chants, we think of others, we do it. You have lots of people in your lives, and sometimes they go through a difficult time. You might say, I'll keep you in my thoughts and prayers. Don't just say it. Do it. You don't have to like go out and buy a puja kid and do offer flowers and food. You can. You can do a little thing every day. It doesn't have to be a whole complex ritual. You could just light a candle, light some incense, think of them. The light spreads and the incense spreads, and your loving thoughts spread. Sometimes I think we don't know what prayer is unless you've been at some point moved to tears. We haven't really felt at least something of the suffering of others. It's still a little separate, don't you think? Like if something happens to someone you love close to you, they could sprain their ankle and you're feeling so bad, it's even on crutches. I feel so bad. Someone else loses a leg, you say, oh, it's bad. Yeah. We have to spread that compassion to everyone. The heart should be easily moved. I think Buddha sometimes really like the people who are easy criers. You know, he's called them Cryinanda. The bliss of crying. Yeah. He would say the highest prayer is to sit in front of your altar with tears are flowing. You don't even know why sometimes. We want to take care of the Mother Earth, we can't do it at a distance. That's my point. It's a good thing, very good thing to write a check. Do something like that, or volunteer for a day. You have to do it every day. Little things. You drive down the road and you see a dead squirrel. Did you ever stop for a moment to think of the pain that poor lion just went through? I do. Alone. You know, they had friends. You ever watch them? They with little families together. We have in our backyard several. One that runs in the street gets hit by a car. The pain that little body goes through. Touch your heart. Mr. Shivananda, even if he saw a dead insect, would pause. When he's walking, he would stop and say Trambaka mantra. Even like a dried up worm. And those that lowly creep, I am the self in all. Song of the Sannyasa by Swami Vivekananda. Even those that lowly creep, I am the self in all. That's right. That's how we serve the Mother. It takes a little courage. Sometimes life is hard enough. And here's this fellow here saying, well, it's good to cry over a squirrel. If we don't face that, then we can't know the joy either. You've heard me say before, you can't just embrace part of God, the part you like. You have to embrace the entire God. The one that gives and the one that takes away. If we don't do that, then we're always taking a little part of ourselves. And it's such always such a precious part. And we're keeping it away. We're shoving it somewhere. It's being like repressed. So we could be very nice people, but the goal of yoga never said, go forth and be nice. It's not enough. Nice is good. Don't not be nice. Don't misunderstand. But it isn't enough. In Hinduism, they have like a scale. I don't know what's supposed to be a scale. Everybody should see where they're on the scale. We would never do this to us every so often. See where you are. He never made us raise our hands. He said, one end of the scale is a person who goes through life only taking. So all they care about is taking. Those are thieves. Then there's some people, higher up level, but they still take more than they give. Those are debtors. So you start with thief, then you go to debtor. Then, next stage, you take as much as you give. You can say, good business. You're a business person. Right, it's what business is. Here's the product, and here's the return, what you pay for it. It's fair. Then next level up, you give a little more than you take. That would be a righteous person. But there's still one more level. Just give everything. Take. You expect nothing. Just a one-way street of giving. That, what you call a saint. That's what I mean. Nice isn't enough. It's only the fourth level. We should have belts like black belts, like this right here. What level? I'm a black belt yogi, right? We have gold sash yogis, gold belt yogis, purple yogis. It's a big demand to be giving just everything. Same time, it's pretty free. You give everything, easy way to do it, you just give it first to God. You know everything, you made everything, it's all your business. Just let me be like a little speck of dust. You know how it is in the room when you see the dust when the sun comes through? You see the, you ever just follows specks of dust? Just think like, wow, what is that dust anyway? When you're little, did you wonder? I did. I spent like what seems like days, but I'm sure it wasn't. Just wondering, what's dust? Where did it come from? And it looks so sparkly sometimes, right? And it's just moving. And I didn't know about convection currents in the room. How's it going? Floating along on air currents. That's what we find out. That has to be you. So when the divine voice comes, it doesn't have to be shouting. Yes. No resistance. Because that's the way it's another teaching from Hinduism. First time God wants you to do something, it's just a whisper. Sweetheart, do this. If you don't listen, sweetheart, do this. Next level, sweetheart, do this or else. That doesn't work, comes or else. That's where we are, by the way, with the environment now. Mother Nature's telling us, seas are rising, climate change is happening. She's saying, excuse me, excuse me? Hurricanes, tornadoes, all these things are happening. Pretty soon the stick comes out. I've been saying this for thousands of years in India. By the way, there are scriptures that are over 3,000 years old that talk about human beings abusing the earth. It's not a new thing. It's not on the same scale, I'm sure. But like they were over farming sometimes, doing things. I don't know much of farming, but they were still abusing the earth. There's even a story of the goddess Lakshmi. Another name for goddess Lakshmi is Sridevi. It's Mother Earth. Right? She's being so abused. And this next part, I don't really understand the symbolism, but it's kind of neat. She turns into a cow and runs away. And maybe that's how she escaped. Became a cow and ran away. Well, once the goddess of prosperity runs away, Mother Earth runs away, things go bad fast. Crops weren't growing anymore. Everything was withering. The whole planet's dying. So, in a lot of these stories, by the way, the heroes in a lot of these stories, in Hinduism, it's extraordinary. It's never the warrior. There's always this little group of sages somewhere. And they start praying, doing their stuff. Right? Finally, Lord Vishnu comes. Says, this planet's dying because Mother Lakshmi ran away. We can't find her. So Vishnu literally runs after her. You can see artwork, which is really cute. It's like you see him scampering into this cow. Cow has a nice halo. All forearms flailing. This is Vishnu. And finally, he catches up to her. Ma, you have to come back. The whole plan's dying. No. Come on, you have to. No. She wouldn't do it. Please. No. Every time I go there, these people abuse me. This is over 3,000 years old, this story. Every time I go, they abuse me. It's okay, this is why. This is really a key story. This is what I'll do. I make you this promise. Anytime the abuse comes, I'll take human form on earth to lead people back to righteousness. With that promise. Probably the beginning of if you know the avatars in Hinduism, divine incarnations. The Christians believe Jesus is a divine incarnation. Hinduism, there's many of you talk to, anywhere between 10 and I think 72 is the highest I heard. I think the idea is really, whenever you find someone, some human being who's a light bearer and a light radiator, it's almost really, it's like the Lord incarnated. For all practical purposes, that's what it is. If we don't get busy fixing our relationship to the planet, someone's going to come. Righteousness rises. Unrighteousness rises and righteousness sinks. Even says in Bhagavad Gita. We have to take care of the Lakshmi. Mother Earth, they call her Mother Lakshmi. There's two forms of the Mother Lakshmi and the Mother Earth. Bhudevi and Sri Devi. Bhudevi doesn't mean like scary Bhu. Although I like to think of it sometimes. B-H-U, Bhu. Bhu means to become. When you hear, you probably haven't heard the word, there's a word bhumi. Have you heard the word bhumi? Bhumi. There's even a puja called Bhumi Puja. Puja to the earth itself. Bhumi means earth, planet, you can say. Bhudevi is the supporter of the earth. The mother is Bhudevi. Lakshmi then brings forth the wealth from the planet. Food and different things. But it's really two aspects of the same goddess. But you know, in India, every time they have a different aspect, they have a different form, a different name, different stories. According to what appeals to you, you can follow. Someone, I just read, someone said, this was in a scholarly paper, that there are over 30,000 different deities in Hinduism. I wonder who counted. I never counted this. But anyway, 30,000 lots is what it is. My favorite, if I touch my favorite goddess, I know? Ka, or Kaya. The name is based on the root Ka. Have I told you this story? Remember? You know what Ka is? It's a question. It's who? The name of the goddess is who? It's like, I haven't seen an image. I haven't searched and Googled anything. I should have. But I just love the idea that, you know, in your prayer, oh, beloved goddess who? Take care of us. Goddess who? I think it keeps you awake. You keep saying, who?
Who's on first?
Huh?
Who's
It's
on
like,
first?
it's like an old like I think that's because, you know, the questioning is more important than the answer. Getting the answer. It is a danger when you get an answer, then you fall right asleep. Oh, there's the answer. Now I know. Yeah. Now I know. That's dead. But if you keep saying who, what, you're always awake. You don't even expect an answer. You expect better questions to come from you. That's all. By the way, the most profound form of questioning doesn't have a question mark after it. The most profound form of questioning is to just watch. Anytime you can formulate it into words, it's not as high as just watching. That's why the goddess who? I don't know if they put a question mark after it. I do. That's like the highest thinking you could have.
Like being wonderstruck?
Yeah.
You're wondering?
Yeah. Right? You're just watching. The thing is, the ultimate truth is bigger than we can fit in our minds. And so if we keep striving to define everything and thinking that's the goal is to just get better and better definitions, we just get more and more clever. Within our ego gets more and more entwined. So it's not that you don't do that, it's just that you realize that's not it. It's like, I'm just getting better at reading recipe after recipe after recipe. I'm still not eating. So the highest question is just to watch. What's the nature of the universe? Then you start experiencing the different movements and patterns that happen throughout creation. You become one with it. Is that an answer? I could use a few. I'm running low. You know? My answer book here.
I have a question.
Yes.
So you basically just said that you don't get the answer because you'll fall asleep. So when you're so impatient and you want to know like why things are happening, is that why you say don't ask why, but what can I learn from this?
and you're still not giving an answer because God doesn't want you to fall asleep?
Oh boy. What did I open up? There's a couple of parts to your question. One is, first, it's true that the deepest questioning is just to observe. It doesn't mean it's the only means of questioning you use. It's not that you can't ask questions. You just can't sit there like a lump all day just observing. There's a relative level that deserves our attention and our respect too. But you don't take an answer given in words that you understand as being the final answer. What was that game show? Final answer show?
Millionaire.
Oh, what's to be millionaire? Yeah. Final answer. You keep saying no. Whatever it is no. Your final answer. So you get a certain understanding, certain intellectual understanding. It's fine, but that's just like being. You watch cooking shows, most of you, right? And the good people on the shows, who people are good at it, they taste something, and they're so good at describing it that you want to jump up and eat it. Right? I was with someone the other day. We were talking about watching some cooking show, and they were eating pizza, and they had to jump up. They said, and they ran out and got pizza right away because they couldn't wait anymore. That's spiritual life. You get you get the teachings. That's the person saying what it tastes like. Then you go and eat it, and you know what it is. And when you eat it, it isn't something that isn't. When you taste the pizza that you've been wanting, it isn't an intellectual experience, right? You just taste it. Oh, there it is, right? The texture, the taste. There's no real words. You can put words to it later, but the experience is beyond words. So you're not satisfied with just a verbal answer, spiritually speaking. It doesn't mean that every question is like that. If someone says, how many cups of flour to make this loaf of bread? You don't have to like, no, I can't take that. Did you know? That's the recipe you use it. That's on a relative level. But when it comes to spirituality, when it comes to matters of knowing what's the nature of consciousness and what's your true nature, then words are limited. And if you accept words only as the answer, then the tendency is to stop probing. It's like you stop looking because you feel you found something. If you say your true nature is peace, that's true. But if you just stop there, you haven't experienced it yet. You don't know your true nature is peace. You believe it.
There's that, it's not the opposite of faith. It's like the negative of faith. I can't think of the word. It's not doubt, but it's certainty. So the, like the negative aspect of faith.
The inverse, or is
Like, what most people think would be doubt. But in fact, it's not really doubt, it's certainty.
Yeah. Yeah, that kind of kills the mind. I often think of that, the one, and one at the same time, the most beautiful in many ways and the most dangerous of all sayings is like, God is love. It's true. We don't know what that means. You say it, and it's true. It's pointing to something. It's pointing us in the right direction. But the magnitude and quality of that love is beyond what we can understand. It's only something we could submit to. In that embrace, there's oneness. That answers the question. And then once you've had it, you can't put it into words either. But if we just walk around clinging to that idea, God is love, without trying to probe what that means, we're missing something. Father Richard Rohr talks about it is what he calls like an astonishing and surprising to him lack of curiosity people have about their own faith tradition. They just are told things and it's like, okay, they go on. Like as if you check off things on a list, and if you believe all the things on the list, now you're good, whatever the faith tradition is. That's just the beginning. The beginning is you're introduced to that list. Then you have to understand what it means. What does it really mean, God is love? What does it mean God is love? And then you hear about the refugees in Syria. Now what do you do with that? What do you do with that? How many people in their own lives end up starting by loving God, then hating God? Because of things that happen. And some well-meaning spiritual person will come and say, God loves you. And they don't believe it. It's not saying don't hold that belief, but the word belief, the second part, the leaf part. The bees, the leaf part, I know. Has to do, it's from the German, ancient German language. And it's related to the word love. It's derived from the word love, lieb. Right? Not L-I-E-B-E, lieb, love. Leaf and belief comes from lieb, love. Belief implies relationship. So if you believe God is love, what you're really saying is that I know enough about this, what we call God, to enter into a relationship. That's my job, is to get into relationship with what I see. Not just trying to have the right answers all the time, to get into a good relationship, to have a connection with that. That's belief. When that belief ultimately is confirmed by experience, that's what you call faith. Another word for belief you could say is conditional faith. You have faith, but it's not tested yet. There's a story of a man who, in India, ancient times, whose job was to sound the bell at the temple at the time to worship. Several times a day, they had a big puja. And his job was to run to the temple and ring the bell. His father had done it. He had done it from a young boy who was the bell ringer. Every day, several times a day, he would ring the bell. He never missed a day. The most important time was the morning. And he would be there just before sunup, ring the bell. As the sun came up, the puja would start. But one day, he got sick. He wasn't able to even get out of bed. And suddenly he panicked. His wife said, "What's happening, honey? You're so upset." I said, "I gotta get up. You're too sick. I gotta get up. If I don't ring the bell, the sun won't come up." He saw a relationship. There was a relationship in a sense. He rang the bell, the sun came up. There was a relationship, but there was no connection. The relationship was just the timing. His faith had to be tested. His belief had to be tested. When he could stay in bed and the sun still came up, then he realized, well, I didn't make the sun come up. Faith has to be tested. That's what you see in the story of Job, too. If you really want to have faith, it can't be without tests. Bertha's story, how many tests she had to go? 21 months there? Locked? That doesn't sound easy. Yeah.
I don't quite understand how the man's faith was tested. If the sun still came up, he wasn't devastated that it wasn't because of him not ringing the bell?
Well, the story doesn't say if he was devastated.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So where's the faith? Like, oh, the sun's still coming up. I'm not, you know what I mean? Like.
Yeah, it could have been that, but I think the important thing was, it did, in a sense, the point of the story doesn't matter whether he was devastated or not. The point is, a false faith was revealed. The faith that he had, or the belief he had, that the sun only came up when he rang the bell, that was proven to be untrue.
So where's the
That faith, no, it's not giving him a new faith. All this is doing is saying the thing that you, it's just like saying, you know, God is love, and then everything falls apart in your life. Then can you still say it? Faith has to be tested. And the first thing we're told, really, in real spiritual life, not like on Hallmark cards, but in real spiritual life, generally the first lesson is a bitter one. What was Buddha's first teaching?
Life is suffering.
Life is suffering. Patanjali's first teaching on the sutras, right? Number 2, book 1. He tells you that you've been misidentifying with the thoughts in the mind. The first thing you hear challenges your faith. So before something new could come in, you got to get rid of the old. So the bell ringer, that false faith had to be disrupted so something new could come in. He could have been devastated for a while, but you know, he could have felt free after that. Like, yeah, you know, the whole world doesn't depend on me. It's like pretty good. I can sleep late. Like, right? I mean, just think of the burden in a way. Like, wow, the whole world was waiting for me to ring the bell. He could have felt like a freedom, and now it was just a joy to ring the bell. So the story doesn't say, was he devastated or was he relieved? But what we do know is that he couldn't have that belief anymore. That when he rings the bell, the sun comes out. It's important to have these things kind of cracked. Right? That's part of spiritual life. You've heard me say, we don't need more information, we need less ignorance. We really need lots of teachings. You need lots of tests to go through. Little ones, big ones, confusing ones, dramatic ones, funny ones, right? All kinds of tests. See what you're like. You don't know what you're like until you're tested. That's why, like an athlete, they train and train and train, but that's not the point for an athlete. An athlete wants to get into competition and see how well they could do. If you're running a race, what you want to run with is not the slowest runners. You want people who are really the best. You want that. You want that kind of test. If you're lifting weights, your goal is to take the weights off the bar. More, take more. Now I'm doing well. Look how easy it is. I could do one hand. Your goal is to keep adding and adding and adding. So many ways that we do that, but we have to do it spiritually as well. Accept that adversities are blessings in disguise. But to do that, you need courage, so you don't run away into your safe corner and hide. Right? You need patience, because sometimes the blessing is in a really deep disguise. It doesn't come out right away. You need knowledge. That's why you study some teachings. That helps bolster your mind a little bit, give you support. You need each other. If you wait long enough, one day you say, oh, it really is worth it. It is all for good. I didn't realize that before. It might be 21 months marching. And even then, that's small victory. Then another one you have to do. It's like that. The big thing, it's the most difficult thing, but it leads to enlightenment right away. Tyagat Shantir Nantara. Supreme peace immediately follows renunciation of selfishness. It's immediate. Bhagavad Gita. I don't know the number. It's in the second chapter, somewhere around number 50, 48. So I think that's I never did good in math. To this day, me and numbers. Like when you take those aptitude tests, junior high and all, grade school, you would have, you go into the guidance counselor and you just show the graph, the bar graph. So, here you are in English. I was in the top 2% of the country. For a couple of the categories, and here you are with math. Went all the way down the other way. Here's average, went all the way down to the bottom. What happened? I just got through. I couldn't take this stuff through. I would fall asleep taking the test. It was awful. I never, 1 + 1 is I was good. I was all right. If you passed that, it started getting like dicey for me. That made sense. There's one, there's another one, I got 2. Then when I started putting those little houses and we call it division, the little house you put, like a lean-to. It's like a little lean-to. Numbers go in there and things on top of other ones. Oh, then geometry came. That was it. Shapes flying around. I couldn't do it. Wasn't me. So I don't know numbers well. But Tyaga Chantir Anantaram, I know. Wherever it is. Eat that. The idea is that we can't expect life to go according to how we want it to go. Really, maturity, a large part of maturity is accepting that things happen that we don't like, that we have to move with it and not resist it. Doesn't mean we don't try to make things better and better to ease suffering. All those things are correct. But there are things that we can't do something about. So we do what we can. And then accept. I've been thinking of this as the harsh teaching.
I don't know if I can take it. Bring it on.
Lots of times, a wonderful little sangha with people sometimes have some difficulties and we talk about it. And often we say things like, I'm really trying to accept it. You've heard that in yourself probably. Trying to. My thinking is, stop that. You have to accept it as the teacher. It's not like, I'm trying to accept it, I want to accept it. You know what I mean? It's like we're putting padding between us and the experience. I think it might be time to take some of the padding away. Teaching is, you have to accept it. If something happens, it's there. If your roof has a leak when it rains, it's there. You have to accept it. It's not like, I'm working on it, I'm trying. Just accept it. It isn't that easy to do. I'm not making it, but what I'm trying to say is that don't put lots of padding between you and acceptance. Your guiding light is not like, I'm really trying. It's just, you should be saying, I have to accept it. Your mind might say, but I don't want it. That's fine. That's what your mind's going to say. I don't want to accept it. You keep saying, no, you have to. It's leaking. I don't want to accept it. That means I have to call somebody to fix it. I don't know who to call. And I don't have Angie's List anymore.
Yeah.
I'm not getting up on the roof. What's going to happen to all my stuff? And then the voice has to come. But you have to accept it. You have to fix it. You have to accept it. Doesn't mean by just saying that you do accept it. Is it clear? I'm not saying it's instant. What I'm doing is trying to change the environment that your challenges are in. To be happy. Tyaga, the word tyaga, in that quote, Tyaga Chantir Anantaram. Tyaga, it's a beautiful word. Usually it's translated as renunciation. It doesn't literally mean that. If you break into the word a little, it means to let go. That's what the word literally means. Want to be peaceful? Let go with the flow. Right? You heard that expression, let go and let God. Just having these words is helpful. It's not the same thing as living it, but I think it's helpful. I've really been thinking a lot because I've been hearing a lot from people. I'm really working on it. I'm really trying to accept it. It's almost like if I keep saying that, I can't get past that place. Does that make sense to you? You keep trying. That means, well, I'm trying. You know, Jesus wasn't a big fan of that either. Right? When you make an oath, remember that part? Just say yes or no. Don't go like, well, just say yes or no. That's how Gurudev taught us too. Like, oh, he would tell us, do something, maybe give someone some task to do. And someone say, well, Gurudev, I'll try. You can try. Just do it. If you can't do it, fine. Don't say try, because then it's like your mind is already making an excuse. Around him, you would never say, I'm going to try to do it. Just say, do it. If you can't, if you fail, it's fine. There's nothing wrong with failing. You fail a million times. You know what I'm saying? Does it make sense? It isn't like you have to succeed every time. But you're taking your mind into a situation, into a predicament. You want the mind to be in its best possible condition. The best possible condition is not, I'm going to try. I've heard, like, you know, one of the most interesting things in sports is batters in baseball. It's considered the most difficult single act to do. And the greatest fails 70% of the time. The greatest. It fails 70%. To be a 300 hitter, it's really a big number. That means you fail 70% of the time. But the great hitters go up there and they say, every time I go up, I think I'm going to get it. I think I'm going to get it. They talk about how important it is to be positive. No matter how many times they get out, doesn't matter. They get up. Have to accept. Have to be happy. There's no choice. You don't have a choice to be happy. Your choices can push you away from happiness, but it's your own nature. It's not like you could choose to be happy. Happiness is your nature. You can choose to do things that help reveal the happiness, or things that cover it up. But you can't choose to be happy. In Satsang years ago, I don't know what the question was. It was a big, long and fashioned question. You know what Jivan Mukta is, right? Liberated being. His answer was, I don't remember the question, but the answer was, well, I would say, until you're enlightened, do it the Jivan Mukta way. Act like a Jivan Mukta. So, right, so that's what we started doing. So it's acting like a Jivan Mukta. Why? Because you are. You're acting in according with your nature. I remember years ago, oh gosh, it was 20 years ago. Yeah, probably 20 years ago. I was doing a program for the Princeton Integral Yoga Institute. And on the way back from Princeton, at that time there was what was the name of that food store? Oak, something Oak.
Wild oats?
Wild Oats. Yeah, Wild Oats. So I stopped there to get something. But, well, I stopped there to get something. Then I'm about 2/3, 3/4 of the way home, and I'm low on gasoline. And as the fellow was getting ready to, actually was putting this into the tank, I looked at it, I didn't have my wallet. I said, excuse me, I'm going to stop. The guy was very nice. I said, I think I know where it is, because I had it to pay for this stuff. I must have left it at the store, so I'll come. I told him I'm going to Wild Oats. He said, fine. He actually filled the tank. I said, no, that's all right. So he filled the tank. And as I was pulling out, I thought, wow, I have to drive now like an hour one direction, and then another hour back. And I was starting to feel like, this is annoying. Then I saw the empty seat next to me. I said, how would I react? I don't know why I thought exactly this, but what if the Dalai Lama was sitting there? What would I do? But I'd be like, I'm just so annoyed. I just couldn't see saying that. So I said, well, let me enjoy the ride back, which I did. I went to the Wild Oats. And somehow they all recognized me. Oh, look, you're here for your wallet. It's like 3 or 4 people came up to me. Use your wallet. It was very nice people. We chatted for a while. And then I went back, went to the gas station, found the other nice fellow. And I started thinking, I met all these saintly people today because I forgot my wallet. If I didn't forget my wallet, I would have met all these great people. I wouldn't have a neat story to tell. Tyaga means you have to accept. There's a reason for something to happen. I don't see it. I don't like it now, but I have to wait. Don't expect yourself to be perfect. You know that that's the path. Acceptance. Accept whatever comes, however it comes, whenever it comes. Don't try to accept it. Don't put that thought. Just say, I have to accept this. Not because someone tells you, but because it's reality. It's genuine. And because it unleashes the best of you. You never have to face anything you weren't equipped to face. You may not know it. You may not have seen it yourself. You wouldn't be sitting here tonight if you didn't have that. The wounded snake, its hood unfurls. Flames stirred up the blades. The desert air resounds with the call of a heart-struck lion's rage. Cloud pours forth its deluge strength, and lightning cleaves its breast. And the soul is stirred to its inmost depths. Great ones unfold the best. From Song of the Free, that's what I'm thinking about. Opening stanzas. The imagery is gorgeous, right? Wounded snake, its hood unfurls. When do you see the glory of the snake? It's wounded, see its breast. Flames stirred up, blaze. And the next image is stunning. The desert air resounds the call of a heart-struck lion's rage. The desert air. Lions don't live in the desert. This is a brilliant man. He knew lions don't live in the desert. But the imagery is extraordinary. Here's the king of the jungle in a desert. The king is in the desert. And what do you hear? This roar gets unleashed because it's heart-struck. We don't know why. But what does it do? It doesn't whimper. Lost in the desert, a place it's not supposed to be, it lets loose its roar. The cloud pours forth its deluge strength, and lightning cleaves its breast. We don't know what that's like in our understanding. And when the soul, that's us, each of us, is stirred to its inmost depths, it doesn't say what way, but we're stirred deeply. We're challenged deeply. Great ones unfold their best. Great ones doesn't mean just sages and saints here. If you can hear those words, that's you. You just don't believe it yet. At least if you don't believe it, be with people who believe it for you. It helps. They can see it in you. Maybe you don't see it in yourself. They see it in you. That helps lots. So fun. That's the weekend, right? It's going to be so hot down. Every communication, he's a resident of Satsang Yoga came for a visit, spoke to us last Sunday. Every communication I had with him, Adiyo Maharaj, you can almost like hear the energy flying through him. Maharaj, I've known this guy for 40 years. We were just like hanging around together for so many years. But that's what Sangha can be like. Adiyo Maharaj. And by the way, those of you who were here, I also got a beautiful thank you. What a blessing to be with all of you. When you're surrounded by people who see that in you and reinforce that in you, it's harder to think these terrible thoughts about yourself. They won't let it sink. They keep you floating. You let them. So be that to someone. Be the support for someone. And allow others to support you. When you feel shaky, get support. Reach out all the time. You're a four-top song? Reach out. I'll be there. Right? When you feel that you can't go on, all of your hope is gone, and the life's filled with much confusion. Happiness is just an illusion. The world around is tumbling down. Darling, reach out. Reach out for me. And then I'll be there to love and care for you. I'll be there. Well, he'll be there. We know that he'll be there. Something good's gonna happen. We don't know. It's a great song. I mean, the lyrics are incredible, right? I think sometimes, a lot of love songs just end up being a little syrupy. They don't talk about the nature of this. To me, talks about the nature of what love looks like. When you feel you can't go on and your hope is gone, I'll be there. Great song. So 4 taps. Levi Stubbs, lead singer, one of my favorites. Old musicians. I used to love that song. I would think of it as good as singing it to me. It's true. Not true that I thought that. True that it was. That's what happened. Reach out, he says, I'll be there. It's a beautiful thing. So do that. Things are feeling low for you. Go someplace isolated and start rolling. Okay. That was a prescription Gurudev often gave us. He said, you're the sons and daughters of one. Don't accept less. You could be humble and affirm your true nature. Humility doesn't mean to say how terrible you are. Probably there's something in Screwtape Letters about that. What does it say? Or Screwtape experts.
That you want to be cured of animal self-love so that you could rejoice in being the person who, if you built the best cathedral in the world, that you could rejoice in it as much as anyone else could. Not more nor less, knowing that what you are is a good and excellent thing. And just as every other person is a good and excellent thing. So when you love your neighbor as yourself, then you can really begin to to love yourself. If you love yourself and your neighbor, if you love your neighbor as yourself, you need to really love yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it's true. I'm running out of words.
I'm exhausted.
I know, you've been going through a ringer today? It's okay. It's like getting a This will be
on Monday.
Oh, do you? Me too. I'm going to the dentist next week. Your dentist is in town, right? Anyways, yeah, sometimes the teachings are like getting a good food. It's really stroking. But let it, it's like a fermentation. When you put in a good culture inside, let it just grow. You get the probiotics. For a while though, it gets double. So thank you. Thank you all very much. God bless you.
So thank you so much for everyone for coming. Saraswati, I don't know if you were going to offer chanting. Okay. And I forgot to mention, we have another special guest with us today. It's Ramananda John Welshans. He's here.
We just met.
So thank you for coming to our center. And Ramananda is a spiritual teacher, and he has written several books. And One Soul, One Love, One Heart, When Prayers Aren't Answered, and Awakening from Grief. And he will be Saturday, May 21st, which is tomorrow, from 1 to 5:30 at New Jersey Center for Healthy Healing in Montclair. Healthy Montclair. And I'll leave this out if you wanted to copy down some information. There's a website. And so thank you for coming. Our center. And we still have the raffle for the chocolate if anybody wants to buy the raffle. If not, we'll hold it for next month. It's always time for chocolate. May 22nd, this Sunday, Guruji is going to be at Integral Yoga Institute in New York City. It's a one-day retreat with Guruji and Swami Asokananda. And May 24th continues our meditation class with Reverend Shanti Lemare, and it's open to beginners or advanced practitioners. June 5th, there's a mini retreat in Shahola, Pennsylvania, which is the home of Reverend Shanti Lemare. And you can enjoy Hatha Yoga, vegetarian barbecue, kirtan with Mirabai, and a special talk with Guruji. And you can enjoy the fellowship of all of us. And on Tuesday, June 14th to 28th, Guruji will be giving a talk of the Guru Gita. And coming soon, which is July 11th, July 9th, August 13th, there's going to be, what is it called?
Pure Beginnings.
Pure Beginnings. It's for somebody who's very, very new to yoga. This is going to be like you've never had any yoga experience. If you wanted to come, it's going to be offered the second Saturday from 11 to 1. And keep on your calendar Guru Purnima, July 10th. You're all invited, free of charge, here at the center. And we have a lovely vegetarian meal. We have a puja and just a lot of offerings and a lot of fun. And if anybody is interested, Guruji writes a weekly email with Pathways to Peace, and it comes out every Monday, and it just helps you be a little bit more peaceful. So if anybody wants to get on the email, you can see me, and I'll take your email, and you can. It's for the next 23. It's for 23 weeks. 67 weeks.
23 lessons.
23 lessons for 67 weeks. And I wanted to share a birthday gift with you all. So after we're gonna offer petals to Jagadamba, and we're gonna have prasad. So if you're new to the center, prasad is blessed food, and if you wanted to offer petals, you just offer from your heart. And prasad is going to be somewhere here. And holy ash, right? Will you do holy ash or okay? And thank you. Now Saraswati is going to. While we go for you were to sing?
Yes, I have a couple of little handouts with the chant on it. Jaya Jagatambe. The version is by Krishna Das. So if you want to have one of those, if you feel comfortable, it's called.
Can you use the mic?
Oh gosh, yes.
I
accept.
that picture.
I don't like it, but I accept.
At least that's like your choice.
Okay, we're gonna give it a try. No, not a try. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. Yeah, it's so instant, that try thing. So this is a call and response chant, and I'll just read what's on the bottom here, which I found on the Krishna Das website. So Jagatambe is the mother of the world. Hey Ma means oh Ma. We cry out in wonder when we get a taste of something real. Something comes flooding in and we see that everything we secretly hoped was true. We didn't dare let ourselves believe because we didn't want to be hurt and disappointed again. But it's right here, and we feel it, and we love it, and we want to always be in it. And it is in our hearts, and all we have to do is open up and let go and let ourselves feel and know what is. All that is in this chant, basically. Jaya Jagatambe, Hey Ma Durga. Your turn.
Jai Jagatambe, Hey Ma Durga.
Jaya Jagatambe, Hey Ma Durga. Jaya Jagatambe, Hey Ma Durga. Jaya Jagatambe, Hey Ma Durga. Jaya Jagatambe,
Hey Ma Durga.
Jaya Jagatambe, Hey Ma Durga.
Hey Jagatambe, Hey Ma Durga.
Jaya Jagatambe, Jagatambe Ma Durga.
Jai Jagatambe, Tambe Ma Durga.
Jai Jagatambe, Jagatambe Ma Durga.
Jai Jagatambe, Jambe Ma Durga.
Jai Jagatambe, Hey Ma Durga.
Hey Jagatambe, Hey Ma Durga.
Jai Jagatambe, Hey Ma Durga.
Jai Jagatambe, Hey Ma Durga.
Jai Jagatambe Ma Durga, Jai Jagatambe Ma Durga,
Jai Jagatambe Ma Durga, Jai Jagatambe Ma Durga.
Jai Jagatambe Ma Durga, Jai Jagatambe Ma Durga,
Jai Jagatambe Ma Durga, Jai Jagatambe Ma Durga.
Mahakale Durge Namo Namah.
Mahakale Durga Namo Namah.
Mahakale Durge Namo Namah.
Mahakale Durga Namo Namah.
Jaya Jagatambe Ma Durga, Jaya Jagatambe Ma Durga,
Jai Jagatambe Ma Durga, Jai Jagatambe Ma Durga.
Jaya Jagatambe Ma Durga, Jaya Jagatambe Ma Durga,
Jai Jagatambe Ma Durga, Jai Jagatambe Ma Durga.
Jaya Jagatambe, Hey Ma Durga.
Jai Jagatambe,
Hey Ma Durga. Jaya Jagatambe, Hey Ma Durga. Jaya Jagatambe, Hey Ma Durga. Jaya Jagatambe, Jagatambe 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 Ma Durga. Jaya Jagatambe Ma Durga, 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 Jaya Jagatambe Ma Durga. Jai Jagatambe Ma Durga, Mahakale Durge Namo Namah. Mahakale Durge Namo Namah. Mahakale Durge Namo Namah. Mahakale Durge Namo Namah. Jai Jagatambe, Jagatambe Ma Durga.
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 Jai Jagatambe Ma Durga. Jai 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 Jagatambe Ma Durga.
Mahakale Durge Namo Namah Mahakale Durge